back to the Patrick Lane Show, where we talk about personal finance, investing, and real estate. And today we're going to talk about whether FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, should control us, what exactly it is, and sometimes whether FUD is actually just due diligence. But before we get into that, do me a favor, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell. We really appreciate your help in growing the channel. If you've watched YouTube much, or if you've been on any investment forums like Reddit, Wall Street Bets, or any of the others out there, then you've probably heard the term FUD before. Well, FUD is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And what does that really mean? Well, it can be used as a pejorative or a negative term or an insult on YouTube, in the comments on Wall Street Bets, and those types of things. And what it really means is that people are trying to sow fear, they're trying to sow uncertainty, they're trying to encourage doubt. And really what that means is that we should, by looking at what is basically false information, propaganda, if you will, we should as investors be afraid to make a certain investment. We should be afraid to have the conviction in the stock or the opportunity or the business or the real estate project that we're looking at. We should be afraid of it, because what happens if it fails? What if we're wrong? Uncertainty, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work. Do we really know? Have we run the numbers? Have we researched it? Do we really believe in what we're thinking? Is it really something true? Have we done our homework? And doubt, even if everything is right, if we're completely right, if we've done all the research, if we have a strong conviction, if we know the numbers, will it really work out? Or even if everything is right, is it still going to be a losing investment? Are we going to lose our money? What happens to the family? What happens to us as investors, as people, if the investment doesn't pan out? And so it's interesting that fear, uncertainty, and doubt are things that we think people out there who are trying to manipulate stocks in particular, think about GME and GameStop. There's a lot of information out there. A lot of it is positive about GameStop, but a lot of it is negative. And so if we are the retail investors and we're holding GameStop, should we pay attention to that negative information? Some of that negative information could be just people out there who want the stock to drop, who want us to lose as investors, who want, maybe they've shorted it. Maybe they just don't like us as retail investors. Maybe they want GameStop to crash and burn like it was doing before all of us got involved with GameStop. So they're going to be out there sowing fear, uncertainty, and doubt through putting out bad information or misinformation so that we aren't really sure about our investment. Now it could be, I just use GameStop as an example, but it could be anything. It could be a real estate investment that you're going to make, and maybe you're really locked into it. You've run all the numbers, you believe it's the best thing, but your investment partner doesn't think so. Maybe they think this is really bad and it's not going to work, and it's our first purchase and we don't want it to go bad, and what's going to happen if we lose all of our money? That's fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And that can be a really bad thing when it comes to investments, because what will happen is that fear, uncertainty, and doubt will paralyze us as investors. We won't buy the stock. If we have it, we'll paper hand the stock. Instead of holding it in diamond hands, we'll paper hand the stock and get out of it before the run up, and we miss the growth in the stock. Or we don't buy that real estate property that's going to return us, a nice return on our investment, because we're afraid what happens if we buy it and the housing market crashes. What happens if we buy it and there's a cracked foundation that we didn't see and it costs way more to fix than what we thought? Will we get our money back? So that's just one way that it can impact us. That psychology, that it gets into our brain and it sows that fear, uncertainty, and doubt. We shouldn't do this. And what happens is we focus on the FUD, and it then paralyzes us and prevents us from making the investments. And then we end up just sitting where we are. And we all know that in sitting where we are, without investing, without moving forward, we're actually going backwards. If we just have some money and we leave it sit in the bank, or we hide it under our mattress, or we don't invest it at all, typically we either spend that money or it just sits there, and as inflation ticks up every year, as it always does, our money becomes worth less and less and less. And so we actually lose money by not investing. Some people think it's the safest thing to just stick your money in a savings account, but you actually lose money by doing that. And so we've got to overcome that fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Now, the flip side of fear, uncertainty, and doubt is due diligence. Due diligence is all of the research, all of the investigation, all of the reading, all of the watching all the videos, reading all the articles, getting all the prospectus, reading through all the filings at the SEC. On a real estate property, it's the inspections, it's the walkthroughs, it's the appraisals, it's all of those things that lead us, the market analysis, the market research, all of those things that we look at to determine whether or not this is a good investment. And sometimes, guess what? The due diligence says that maybe we shouldn't invest in this property, or maybe we shouldn't buy this stock. Or sometimes the due diligence will say, we don't think this stock is really worth $483. We think it's only worth $50. Or we don't think that this house or this apartment building is going to be cash flowing. We think that after we get the money invested into it, do the rehab, and get it rented up, that the market rental rates just aren't going to help us to pay the mortgage down. We're not going to put money in our pocket from this rental property. And so that due diligence can also lead us to not buy the property. So what's the difference between due diligence and FUD? Well, due diligence is the fact-based research. You take all of the research, you take all of the analysis, you have all of the facts laying in front of you on the table, and you make a decision based on the due diligence, the facts. The FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, is usually based on emotion. Am I afraid of this investment? Am I uncertain? Am I scared? Do I think it won't work? Am I guessing? But sometimes people will see due diligence, they'll see all the facts, and they're so emotionally invested in the stock. They're so emotionally invested in a particular house. Maybe it's the neighborhood they grew up in. Maybe it's a property that they've wanted for a long time. They're so emotionally invested in it that they look at the due diligence and they don't pay attention. They make their investment decision based on emotion, and that can be just as bad. So sometimes the negative information, the negative due diligence, the facts that are actually talking to us can be characterized as FUD because we're thinking with our emotions instead of paying attention to the facts of the due diligence. And so it's a very tricky situation. We've got to obviously not buy into the FUD, but we also have to recognize that due diligence, even when the due diligence tells us not to invest, is very important. And negative due diligence is not FUD. So I hope that helps in explaining and maybe getting you to think a little bit about investment philosophy and knowing the difference between FUD and due diligence and when one is good and one is bad. So if you've learned anything or been entertained by this video, do me a favor, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, leave a comment down below. If you think that FUD and DD are similar, are they related? Do you think that emotion plays the most in FUD? And let me know your thoughts on this video and any of the others that we've put out there. And we'll see you in the next video.